This is Trail Talk. We're here every week. Stick with us on Instagram. Ask us some questions in the chat if you want. If you can't, stick Trail Talk into your search engine. You'll find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the players, or get the link tree in bio and you can join us over there. Ricki, we got a stacked show. It was a big weekend in racing, so it's kind of cool. Like the season's kicking off, some fun stuff to talk about. HK100, part of the World Trail Majors, kicked off this past weekend. Arc of Attrition seemed like it's just getting bigger and better. Certainly getting wetter and windier. So we got lots to talk about there. Some great racing that went down. But let's start off the show and just see, like, how are you? How's your week been going? Well, we're at the start of the week. How's your week? How was your weekend? How was your race?
Oh, yeah. It's my first race of the year this year. Short race. It wasn't like Arc of Attrition or HK100. It was only a little 8-kilometer race. Like something kind of that people would even think that is kind of out of my wheelhouse as such, you know what I mean? Maybe a bit too short. But they're great races. They're great for getting you sharp this time of year. They're just like doing a tempo, hard session, like a lactate threshold session or something like that. So blow the cobwebs off, blow the dust off, have lots of fun. And yeah, look, it went really well for me. I ended up in second place, a couple of seconds behind the winner. Alan Dunn is his name, very fast guy. I beat him last year. Just this year he got his tactics right at the start of the race, and he didn't give me the respect. Do you know what I mean? Like last year he played it safe on the straight, and like he is quicker than me on the flat, and this year he took it out hard. So I respect to him, you know.
The man was thinking about it. He learned from last year. That's cool. How long did the race take?
So like for me, I was looking at it in the weeks leading up to it, saying if I could manage under 32 minutes, that'd probably win it. That's the way I was looking at. So I think I ran 31:25 and he was 31:10, something like that. You know what I mean? There was 15 or 20 seconds in the end. So yeah, average gap, because it was like 250 or nearly 300 meters of climbing in it. It was like 3:44 average gap. So I was very happy with that. Like that was, you know, there was a decent bit of fire road in it, but then what was in it was really technical trail. Like, and we were moving, like I felt like I was moving really well on that stuff. I just wish there was more of that and slightly less of the fire road, and I would have been more competitive, let's say. So yeah, look, felt great, as in all the speed work that I've done over the last few weeks is definitely paying off, you know. So I was happy enough with that, yeah.
And how were the legs on the day? Like, it wasn't a race that you rested for, so you just went in there, training a race. It was instead of a session.
Yeah.
How were the legs whenever you wanted to push? Were they responding, or were they going, "Ah, you bastard"?
They weren't too bad. No, they were pretty good. Like even from the word go, you know, a short race like that, you're out of the trap, so you need your legs, and they were fine. They were good. And look, races like these are cool, right? It's like me and Alan, we know each other, right? So like the minute I see him coming, I'm like, oh man, he's going to make me work for this, you know, and he's probably thinking the same. But then we're still kind of friends. We did our warm up together. We raced hard together. We did our cool down together. We had tons of chats, you know what I mean? Tons of high fives and slaps on the back. And like all I was saying to him was, I was messing with us, you're after ruining my Instagram post. That's what I said to him.
And during the race, like, you know, we were following other big races that had live streams and Instagram updates and things. And I was thinking, God, I'd love to know how Ricki's getting on, because I got the notification and I saw that you did your warm up, and then I knew you'd be racing, and I was like, I wonder how it's playing out. Like, how did it play out at the start? Did you just both of you just went for it from the start?
Yeah, it's like there's not a massive amount of tactics in a race like this, but at the same time, he went out really hard. But also there was other runners in it that were on my heels. You know what I mean? They were right behind me. You're not looking behind you, but you can hear what's going on. You can hear the
Yeah.
heavy breathing. You can hear
Yeah.
the clap of the feet, and you know there's more than two legs chasing you. You know, there's probably six sets of legs following me, and I'm like going, okay, I'm 4K in, and I can still hear hooves behind me, like so. You need to keep moving, you know. As much as I want to catch Alan, I don't want to get caught by anybody else, you know. So from the word go, it's very, very hot. First kilometer is very flat. And that's where Alan was able to just use that. Like, look, this dude's a sub 15-minute 5K runner. You know what I mean? He's got some good leg speed. And he was able to just open it up a little bit. But because he opened it up a little bit, I was opening it up as well. Like, I was trying to stay with him as much as I could, you know, a few seconds back. But all I was thinking was, all right, you can't let your heart rate go right through the roof, because I know where the climbs are, and I need to be strong on those climbs, because otherwise he'll be out of sight completely. Like, you know, if I let him, if I get too worked up at the minute, you know. So like after about a kilometer and a half, we start climbing then, you know. So then it's like, okay, settle in, start climbing. And I was thinking, oh, I'll put a gap now on these lads behind me, and I'll be able to settle in and start hunting. But no, no, they were still coming, you know. So it's like, all right, this is just it. You're in it now for the next, whatever it is, 25 minutes. You're in it, and it's all or nothing. Like, you know, it's a class way of racing, isn't it?
There's
Like
no time
that's
to
that's
think. Like you just have
yeah.
to go.
Yeah. And like, look, the great thing is I know the course. I've ran it a few times the previous weekend, so I knew exactly where I was going. You don't need a ton of stuff to remember. It's only 7 or 8K, so I know exactly where the turns are. I know, yeah, if I come down here, I can take that turn really well and keep the pace down. And also, there's a little part where um, you go up and you turn left and you go up the climb. And when you're coming back down the climb, you meet some of those runners that are going up, you know, and that's always cool when you get to see where other runners are, you know, and it kind of gives you that little bit of a motivation, because they're all clapping for you and you're clapping for them. And it just fires you up and keeps you on your toes, you know.
I, I'm sure you were clapping. You were blowing out your arse.
Yeah, but I still always like, well done, well done, well done. You know what I mean? You're trying to be the nice guy, like, you know.
Oh, well, I don't think I'm able to talk over 8 out of 10 effort, so words would be lost from my part. We're gonna come on to training later on. We'll get into the races now and the news,
Mm.
but before we get there, like what nutrition, supplements, caffeine, bicarb, any of that taken before for this race?
Yeah, so um look, there's always caffeine, so there's just coffee. Again, a race like this is just, you know, your normal breakfast. It was a 10 o'clock start, so it's not, I'm not having to rush out the door in the morning, you know, and it's a maybe a 45-minute drive for me. So really, really easy for me to get to it. I'm talking bagel, peanut butter and jam, 2 cups of coffee, one in the house, one in the van on the way to the race. And then I popped a gel. I popped a gel, maybe a 40-gram carbohydrate gel, maybe 20 minutes before the race, you know, so just after my warm up and then just getting ready to go. Actually, 1 second. Yeah, so there we go. It's a Bix gel. The Bix is my sponsor for the year, so we'd say 40 gram, and they also do a 30 gram as well. So I popped one of them just before the race as well. And then that was it. Then there's nothing else. You know what I mean? I ain't taking water. There was a water station somewhere along the way, but I mean, in an 8K race, there's no need for a water station. You know what I mean? It's over in half an hour.
There's a comment in the chat. Shout out to Ricky for helping me out with my own running motto. Get on up when you're down. What do you guys think? I'll leave that one to you.
Get on up when you're down. It sounds
Yeah.
like a Five song, so it does.
No dance moves, please. There'll be enough of that going on in your house.
Yeah. Hey, if it gets you out the door, I don't care what it is. You know, if it keeps showing up or if it doesn't fucking matter, whatever. If it gets you out, it gets the shoes on, then fine by me.
Lean into whatever motivates you if it works. If it works, it works. Right, onto the arc of attrition. Lots of great racing. I'll start off with a miler. Yes, she didn't win, but the person that impressed me the most
Mm.
was Charlotte Fisher. what a run she had. Like, obviously, I was in Southern Hemisphere whenever that race was going down, in the Northern Hemisphere now. So I was seeing updates and following live trail when you guys were sleeping, and she was just motoring,
Yeah.
flying. Like, whenever I saw the lead that she had at 60K, I was thinking, like, how long is this gonna keep going? And then it was 100K, and then I'm not quite sure what distance she actually had a bad fall, and then that was the start of her race kind of unraveling, but she still did what she needed to finish second, just.
Yeah.
Um, do you know the distance? What can you share us on that? It looked like a nasty fall.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what distance. I think it was like about 125 or 130K in when she fell. Like I was in touch with her after the race. Look, I was delighted for her. Incredible race. You know what I mean? And like that, this girl is only running since 2023, you know? So anyone that's looking for any kind of motivation of, am I too late in life? When do I start running? How fast can I improve? If you do the little things right, you can improve very, very fast, as Charlotte has just shown us, you know? But, uh, I'm trying to think where I was in that, but
She was about 120, 130. It was under 130 for sure,
yeah,
because I mean, Anne Sophie Polestrad, I think is how you pronounce it, Norwegian athlete. She actually took the win and put a decent gap into Charlotte by the finish.
yeah.
But I think Charlotte was doing all she could to get to the finish after the fall.
Yeah, and like she sent me a picture of her knee, and like it was a bad fall, and it knocked the wind out of her, but also like it just sort of knocked the confidence out of her. You know, she was just a bit sort of sketchy then on some of the downhill, some of the descents. It was a mud fest, like it was a complete mud fest. And if you fall a couple of times, you kind of the fun wears out of that too. You know what I mean? And she was just trying to manage herself as best she could to the finish, but like that was just to show how brave she was. She took out a huge lead and she held that lead for a long, long time. And because she had that lead, that was a big buffer. So when she did have that fall, she still had that buffer, you know what I mean? So she was able to hang on and grit the teeth and get herself over the line in second. That's what, sub 24 hours. I think she was 23:49, something like that, I think. Um, you're looking at a black buckle for anyone that finishes under 24 hours. I think she's one of six ladies
Six,
ever,
yeah.
yeah, to have won that. So that's a fantastic achievement. That's her. Bang, bang. Hello, Hoka. I don't want to just be affiliated with you and getting some free shoes. I want a sponsorship. That surely opens a few doors for her, you know. So I'm really hoping that Hoka just snap her up now.
Yeah, absolutely. With that race, like, that's one of the most competitive races in the UK, for this year. It definitely will be. UTMB World Series event. She stamped her place at the finale with that result as well. I think, like, she very easily could have been third. I think Hannah Rickman closed to within 90 seconds of her at the finish. And
Wow.
I was watching it come down, and it was 5 minutes. And then the actual finish time, it was around 90 seconds, which is like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
unbelievable. That was a real, I mean, she lost so much time after that fall. She must have been like in bad shape. There was blood the whole way down her leg that had dried in the
Yeah.
photo. I know she shared the photo with you. She sent it to me as well. And you could just see the red hue of muck.
Yeah.
But she'd lost quite a lot of blood on that leg, so it must have been sore as well. Um, I noticed she was wearing the Mafati 5.
All of the Hoka athletes this weekend chose the Mafate 5, you know, because like, we'll get to it like anything, but Chris Jones, Gemma Moses, they were all wearing the Mafate 5, and it seemed to be the best shoe for those kind of conditions, you know what I mean? Like if you were wearing something like Tecton X3 on those trails, no way, you'd have been on your bum for 80% of the race because it was a mud fest now. It was seriously mucky. Like I have a great story actually. Like I know one of the lads that did the miler, right? Did the miler. It's his 10th 100-mile race. Owen Fenton's name. So shout out to Owen. He's a sound fella. And after the race, right, he got into his car to go to the hotel. And when he got into the car, not the only one, this happened to a ton of people. This is how mucky the place was, from just being a swamp with rain and mud and everything all weekend. Their cars got stuck and they had to spend the night in the car.
The
Spend
night?
spend the night in the car.
No
Didn't even get
way.
to the hotel, yeah. And then they got towed out in the morning, hey.
What about pizza? What
Yeah,
about
I
what about
know.
finishing treats?
I know, but can you imagine like running that? That's like the DNF rate in ARC is insane. Like that'll just tell you. So like hats off to anyone that finishes it. But when you do finish it and then you get stuck, you don't even get to go to the hotel. You don't go and get a hot shower or a bath or a pizza or anything. Oh, nightmare, nightmare.
That's a good point, actually. What was the DNF rate? It was like 60 something percent or something, wasn't it?
Something crazy like that. Yeah, yeah. So high. It's got to be one of the highest in a UTMB race throughout the year. It has to
Yeah.
be. That has to be the highest.
And there was a story that we were kind of chatting about, the whole community was chatting about it. There was a guy washed out to sea by a large wave that came in on the beach and dragged him out to sea. And obviously, he didn't get dragged totally out and he was able to save himself. But that's unbelievable. Like, that's crazy dangerous. Very scary situation.
Wow, insane! Because that wave that took him out, that was coming across and just drowning everybody else. And especially all the front of the pack runners. They were getting smashed by some where be hitting the wall and going up over the top of them, and they were getting drenched. Like I saw pictures of like the likes of Harry Jones waist deep in certain sections of the course, legs that were just like chocolate covered legs, you know what I mean? Like that sort of crusty trail that that mud that just, oh man, it's so uncomfortable as well, and it tightens on the hair and your legs and gets into your shorts, into your shoes, into your socks. It's
Oh
horrific.
man. And then that's the type of dirt that you need to like, you just want to stand in the shower with a beer or something afterwards and just let yourself get soaked and like soft in the muck. You don't want to be sleeping in the car
No, no.
afterwards. That would be so bad and cold as well.
Yeah, but it is that's one of the races where you would be sort of saying to yourself, right, these socks, yeah, they're going in the bin now. They're going in the bin, and you would contemplate throwing the shoes in the bin too, like, because there'd be a mess. Oh, and then heading back, come on, into the car. But this guy, I said to him, oh my God, you must have been like a bull about that. He was there, part of the game. He embraced it. He thought it was, fun in itself, like that. All right, I thought it was hard, but now it's getting even harder. That's an ultra runner's mindset there.
Yeah, incredible. And is it a race that you would consider
It is. It is.
after all of this?
Yeah, it is.
Potentially swept out to sea.
It is, but it's the time of the year that just puts me off it. Like, it's like so early in the season. Although there is cool things to be said about it. You look at the likes of Charlotte there now, who's stamped her way into a UTMB race in January of this year. So that's huge. You know what I mean? If she was to do nothing else for the rest of the year, she knows that she's in UTMB. Like, so that's very cool about having an early race. But at the same time, it's an early race in the UK in winter, like, so you need to be well geared up and you need to be in a good headspace to take on a race like that. Because you will see, like, look at all the people that DNF'd, and that is the thing. It's like people underestimate, they think, oh, it's in the UK, how bad can it be? Like, but it can be awful bad, like really, really bad. You see it with the spine, you know what I mean? Winter in the UK and Ireland is hard.
It's cold and wet, and then add that southwest coastal path, which is totally exposed. It's always windy there anyway, so
Yeah.
add that into like a wintry situation, and it's brutal. Before we move up the women's race, notable mention, Sabrina Stanley, first race after coming back from the cancer diagnosis, finishing
Yeah.
fourth. Now she
Fourth,
was about
sorry. Yeah.
50 minutes back on third, but like she went into that race just wanting to, look, I need to see where I am. I'm not going to come in and be all ballsy and go, I'm going to win this race. I want to win this race. She was like, I don't know where I am. I've done, a couple of 50K training runs and I felt good. So let's see. So mad respect to her for coming back from basically, I think she had her last treatment in December.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hats off. Question in the chat. What do you guys think of the new 80K race at UTS? Was it 80K or was it 70K? Anyway, regardless, it's only got like just under 3,000 meters again, and it's a mixture of coastal path and mountain, so it's a lot more runnable. The chat in the Trail Talk WhatsApp for anyone listening or watching is that it doesn't give out enough stones when you think about the distance. What I'd probably say is for that distance, less than 3,000 meters means it's probably easier, like it's on the easier side.
Yeah.
I wouldn't look at an 80K and go 3,000 meters apart. Oh yeah, I'd love to do that. I'd look at a 50K with 3,000 and go, well, that might be spicy.
Yeah. Yeah, but
So
Arc is one of those where the vert
UTS,
isn't huge. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying Arc is one of those where the vert isn't very big, over the 50K to 80K. It's not huge vert, but it's the conditions that make it brutal.
mm,
So you kind of weigh that up too, like, it's like, all right, you don't get the vert, but you get everything else that's difficult, because you could look at a race like Arc 80K. And you'd be saying, oh, well, there's not much climbing in it. It'll be fast. It'll be this. It'll be that. But I mean, you just forget how energy zapping that course is. You know what I mean? It takes everything from your legs. It leaves you with nothing. So it's just as demanding as something with 3.5, 4,000 meters of climbing, I think.
Matthias in the chat saying that, and Kiki has just said that races are getting too tame. Yeah, yeah, well timed. And I actually we're gonna have to talk about that in another episode. The Killian's state of trail running in 2026. It's an excellent article. If anyone hasn't read it, check it out. I was glued to it, as you would expect, from top to bottom as soon as it got published, and some very interesting takes on it. So maybe we'll come back to that and have a chat about it next week.
Yeah.
Ricky. Onto the men's race at Arc. Hugh Tibbs won it 1910. Mark Derbyshire's course record 1851. So a bit slower than that, but certainly feels like the guys had a great race. Simon Withers was second, Sam Skinner third. Sam
Yeah.
was an hour back, but still like some good racing on the men's side as well.
Yeah, that's a fantastic result for Sam Skinner. Like I don't know, did I race Sam before, but I just know of him, and he's with that Harriers Trail team. I think they were like a team
Yeah,
that was looking like they were going to build and get some local athletes and support local athletes. Like, so that's a huge win for him, putting a stamp on in UTMB as well. So yeah, definitely big kudos to Sam. I know
yeah.
Sam, I've met him once or twice, so massive, massive hats off to him there.
That's a big result for him. Looking at his previous results, he was last year eighth at UTS Miler, seventh at the Spine, and then he was second at the Winter Downs 200 in 23. So to be third at a World Series UTMB event is, I would say, it's a breakthrough race.
He would, I'm telling you, he would challenge Dimitri to the quad challenge. His quads are monstrous. They're monstrous now.
I'll
So
have to
Sam
get a look at
Skinner,
them.
yeah, Sam Skinner, we got to know, what are you doing in the gym? Because they are monstrous now. They're ridiculous.
I've noticed a lot more people running around with big quads. We've had this conversation before about quads, so
It ain't
uh,
me. It ain't me.
right, on to the ARC 50 miler women's
Mm.
race. Another Hoka athlete there, Gemma Moses, 8:12. Um, Great win by her.
Yeah. Eighth overall, right? So look, again, I'm gonna say, right, a huge, I don't know if you can see that, but it says Hoka, a huge weekend of in arc for Hoka, right? So you had Chris win the men's 100K or 80 miler. I always switch to, I always say that, but Chris with a win, Gemma with a win, and Charlotte with second. Great weekend, you know what I mean? But Gemma's run was fantastic run. Eighth overall. I think an hour and 20 minutes over second place, like monstrous win. And there would have been a few question marks when Fiona Pascal didn't turn up. It was sort of like, oh, well, Fiona's not here. But I'll tell you, if she was there, it would have been some race between her and Gemma. Like, I think that would have been an unbelievable race. But again, conditions are brutal. But that girl, Gemma's been doing unbelievable work on the hills, in the muck, on the trails, very, very similar to what Arc is throwing at you. So, yeah, huge result for her. Huge result.
Is Whenever I look at her results, it looks like a standout victory. Like she won the Chianti B tier race last year, was like seventy
Yeah,
two k or something. So she won that, but she still beat Rosanna Buchhausen or Buchaner by 2 minutes.
yeah,
So I mean, she's definitely got great legs. But
yeah.
second was the Spaniard, very
Uh,
experienced Araya Soa,
so yeah, yeah.
but she was way back. Like,
Way back. But between her and third place, there was only a couple of minutes. Like there was only 3 or 4 minutes, I think. But an hour and 20 minutes, maybe not an hour and 20, but like an hour 18 or something between second place and Gemma. Like. But Gemma, that's probably Gemma's like second longest run. CCC was probably her longest run last year, and this would have been her second longest run. So she's only very new to the distance, and she's definitely figuring it out fast. Coached by her husband as well, Lewis. So a good team.
yeah, yeah, I think she's a coach as well.
Yeah, yeah, the two of them. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, Men's race, and
Chris.
yeah, called it, but we also knew it was going to be a proper race as well. So Chris Jones in 7:07:09, and chatting to him after the race, and he's wants to go back and try and crack OCC. So he's went from sixth to fifth, and he wants to win that race. So I mean, we were rooting for Chris last year at OCC anyway.
Yeah,
We thought maybe he could have pulled it off then as well. But yeah, unbelievable result there from Chris.
yeah. What are we looking at? 7:09 for 80K in
Yeah,
those conditions. Really, really fast. Maybe 20 minutes on Keith. Keith, fantastic runner as well. The two of them seem to be working together for the first half of the race. And they were trying, like Chris was telling me, Keith was telling me, both of them were saying that they were trying to like be smart and conserve energy. But the course was just so demanding that they ended up with no legs anyway. And then it was a matter of just like who's got anything left. And Chris seemed to have more in the tank and was able to just get the win. And in the end, it's a comfortable enough win for Chris. But he was saying that he didn't fall once, because I was asking, did he fall? Like, what shoes did he wear? He said he wore Mafate 5. He said that he was probably a little bit too careful on some of the descents, but sometimes being that little bit careful is better than falling 5 or 6 times and putting yourself at risk. So he ran a very smart race. Great win.
yeah. And Keith, kind of continuing on great momentum from last year. Like he was third at this race last year, and then the 2025 that he had as well. So like great result from him. Probably
Super
gone.
result, yeah.
Yeah, and then coming into this year as well, like if the trajectory keeps going like that, what are we going to see from him?
Yeah,
I think CCC is the priority this summer.
he threw a little comment at me there on Instagram earlier on today about lug depth, that he ran that with like a 2.5 mil lug and he was fine. He says grip is overrated.
He
Yeah.
was in the DMs giving me a bit of stick about the Ultra stick last week, and
Yeah.
he says his Achilles are fine, so respect
Look,
the Achilles.
in fairness to him, they work for him. You know what I mean? They don't work for everybody, but he's been banging out big results over the last couple of years, and he's getting better and better. You know what I mean? So big things to come, I expect from Keith, and a nice lad too, very nice lad.
The wild wiggly,
Mm.
wild wiggly. Yeah, yeah, good result. And then Lewis, bonus 7:38, young guy.
Mm.
Looks like he's only been doing this a couple of years. He won Lakeland 50 early in the summer. Didn't really notice too many other names that he was competing against in that race, but still he ran 7:38, and he's only in the sport, so bags of potential there.
Yeah, Harry Jones then I think in fifth, and then I have to give a mention to Enda Cloak coming in I think in sixth, just only a few minutes behind Harry. That's Enda's longest run to date. I would imagine his longest run to date. It's a UTMB race. He puts himself right in the mix from the word go. Ends up with a great race and finishes sixth. So I'm delighted for Enda.
What do you know what shoes Endo wore? Oh, I think he wore the Terex shoes actually, didn't he?
I don't know. I didn't see now. I actually didn't
Yeah,
see.
actually, I think it was. I saw him in the Terex shoes.
Yeah, interesting, because I was wondering, was he wearing a pair of shoes that I thought he may be wearing, or maybe wearing later on in the year. I don't know, but you just answered that question for me.
All right, say no more there, Ricky.
Yeah.
Save the tease. So that's, I mean, we'll not go into the shorter distances on the arc race. A couple of comments come through there. The they added other races and they went from 1,500 to 2,500 runners. So an extra 1,000 runners at that event. It looks like combined with the weather, the extra runners, did you see the farmers' fields of
Oh,
things? And obviously we've already talked about the guys getting stuck in the car overnight, but it looked terrible. Like you,
but that's the
if
car parks. That's what it ends up becoming like. It's like Electric Picnic or something. It's mental, man. It's like a concert gone wrong, like.
yeah, but I think after seeing that, people should know to use wellies next year.
Mm,
Use wellies, get a lift as well. Like I wouldn't want to be driving down and potentially getting stuck there. That would be a
yeah.
nightmare.
Now, in fairness, I saw conditions that looked awful. They looked awful, and like in maybe in other times you'd see people or hear people complaining, but I didn't hear any complaints. I didn't hear anyone giving out about there wasn't any bad negative press towards it. Everyone sort of embraced it and sort of says this is arc. You know what I mean? It's arc of attrition. It's meant to be hard in every
Yeah,
aspect.
all of the chat's been about the racing, about the weather, about the conditions, not anything about the organization.
Yeah.
People tend to like love the Mud Crew original organizers who are still running the event for UTMB. I'm not sure if there is some sort of transitional period where they will still be
Yeah.
like race directors, co-organizers for a period of time, and then I'll fully swap to UTMB like a like working your notice,
Yeah. Yeah.
so to speak. A bit like Spigo Carl at Spigo 50K. I think he had to do it for like 5 years or 3 or 4 years or something. So be interesting to see how that continues. But I would say a
Yeah.
successful event.
Yeah, I think so. And like next year, like they learn from all this as well. Now it's only the first year or second year as a UTMB event, right? Or second year. So like, the numbers are huge this year compared to what they normally were in the past. So they'll just learn from that. And next year it'll be different. They'll be more set up. They'll be more ready for it. There'll be something, just add in a bit of public transport. You can't drive here, you can't park here, work it some way. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It'd be a very different story in 2 weeks at the next World Series event, Tarawera. There'll
Yeah.
be probably not too much muck on the trails there. But there will be some great stories. Dan Jones, Ronnie Spark, Lucy Bartholomew, all going there with big ambitions. So we will be tuning into that one as well. Any last comments on ARC before we move on?
No, no. Just look, it was a cracking event, cracking weekend of trail watching. So I really enjoyed following along anyway this weekend.
Troy in the chat says 6 mil lugs or you're on your tail. That's not what we say. Was it 5 mil lugs or you're on your hole? I think that was the Ricky quote
Yeah,
from
yeah,
I think probably 2 years ago.
yeah.
All right, Hong Kong 100K was also at the weekend. Did you follow any of that?
No, unfortunately, I didn't. Like, I was very sort of invested in just watching some of the Hoka teammates and then some of the Irish following an arc that I missed a lot of. I know that Luke,
Weldon?
yeah, no, Luke, Brooks athlete. Oh my God.
Oh, Grenfell Shaw.
Yeah, Grant for sure. Like he had the win in the half, in the Hong Kong half, and that's about all I know about that race actually.
Yeah. Well, we're not talking about it. We're only talking about the 100K.
Yeah.
Well, but we don't have as much to chat about on that. But like 3,000 runners at that, it was a shortened course because there was some trail damage from a tornado or a tropical storm, I think it was. So 93K, 5,000 meters again. So Verde for 93K. And you know like the stuff there, it's going to be steps and runnable stuff. So um, that's what you come to expect from Hong Kong. But Ricky, no, I have to report another hand-holding finish.
I did see this. I did see this in your comments, is right. There was a bit of hand holding.
And the thing is, I'm okay. Like Troy, if Troy and I want to run across the line holding hands because we've spent all night talking shite together and eating burgers in a 100 miler, that's fine. I would do that, but not for first place. If
Yeah.
it's first place, whoever has the last kick deserves the win. But I read the report on how this went down. So, Ho Ha, the Vietnamese athlete who is an absolute star, like she's so good, and Veronica Lang, who is she? I'm not sure is she Polish or whatever, but she lives in Hong Kong. Veronica was leading, or sorry, Ho Ha was leading the race, and Veronica caught her right, and by the top of the last climb they were basically she'd caught her, and I think it was maybe like 9K to the finish from there. And the quote was that they were so she was they were so happy to see each other that they just ran to the finish together to finish, and they were so happy about that. So, like, I mean,
Yeah. But you're,
respect if that's what makes you happy, but I mean, I'm
yeah, but
saying it with a bit of in jest, but
yeah.
I want to see somebody win. Also, because I picked Ho Ha as my number one pick in the fantasy league, and I didn't get
But
max points.
that's surely there like oh, all right, Ho Ha was leading and then she got caught. If Veronica caught her, then Veronica was had the momentum. So then Ho Ha probably used her experience, her friendly chat, and she got friendly with her and she tricked her on into running alongside her. Instead of Veronica, you should have been on it and you should have just burned her, and that's what you should have done. You know?
Now we know what Ricky would do.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's just crafty from Hoha. That's what that is.
Yeah, so like she closed the gap to Ho in to 10 minutes in the last 30K, and then in the last descent they we were so happy to see each other and run down to celebrate the joint finish. That's the quote.
Okay, okay.
So what about, could you and Alan not have held hands on Saturday?
If I could have called, I might have held his hand, and I'd have pulled him back. That's what I'd have done.
Tripped him up,
Yeah,
winning.
exactly.
And then in the men's race, Guy Quinn won the race in 8:52, and he's been fifth a couple of times, but never won this race. But what was interesting was he beat the two-time champ Guang Fu, so actually a big win for him. So that was good to see. The other kind of notable thing in the men's race was I wasn't sure how well Dakota Jones would
Mm,
do in that race. I just thought there was so many great, like super high ranked Chinese and Asian athletes in the field. I wasn't sure how he would do, but he ran most of the race in fourth and then just dropped back to fifth at the finish. So he had a decent run as well. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think he was ever gonna be in the podium. So I think that's a good result.
yeah, yeah. I seen a very interesting reel from Tom Jolly there this weekend as well. That wasn't I don't know, it was one of those things where it was a great weekend and it was great this, that, and the other, but it ended kind of in tragedy where he was out on the trail and he came across some guy out on the trails that got into difficulty breathing, and then they had to get a helicopter in for him. And sadly, I think when they did get him away, Tom found out later on that he had sadly passed away, you know. So that was really sad. And seemingly it's common enough up there, you know, where people underestimate the terrain, get caught out and get into trouble.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram, but I didn't, it wasn't in the description, so I wasn't sure exactly what happened, but I saw the helicopter and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's really sad. But like, if whenever you add heat and humidity into the mix, if there's any kind of weakness in the heart, it can certainly be exposed in that type of situation. But yeah, sad story. Tom was meant to be in that race. He was
Yeah.
certainly on the start line, but I think he was like he had COVID as well before traveling out. I don't think he was just 100%. So I think he just decided, not going to do it. I'm going to focus on, you know, the rest of the year because he's got some big plans that we will be chatting to him about
Yeah,
as well.
and that's a smart thing to do. You know what I mean? What's the point? Put yourself into a hole in January. That's what we always wondering about. It's like January is very, very early in the season, and if you're not in tip-top shape, there's no point risking it. You know, long, long year ahead, plenty of time to do plenty of things.
Yeah, and like next up in the World Trail Majors is a really fun race to follow across the board, live stream and fantasy league, everything. Like Black Canyon is in a couple of weeks, and that kind of kicks off the Golden Ticket series as well. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be great to chat about. Any closing comments on Hong Kong or the World Trail Majors?
Just that I'd like to do that race. I'd like to do the Black Canyon race. I think that's class. And I got it right this time. I said it right this time. It's Black Canyon. Yeah, it's a cool race. That was the race that Tom Evans and Anthony Costalis were battling it out for a couple of years ago. Yeah, yeah, great.
That must have been what, 23? Was that maybe 23? It was a
Yeah,
long time ago.
yeah, it's 3 years ago. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 3 years ago. It's a great YouTube video done up on it by, I don't know, was it our Viper or one of them? I can't even remember, but it was a really good video and I enjoyed that. And I'm a big Anthony Casalis fan. I think he's deadly.
Just think how long you have now been struggling with any race that says Canyon
Yeah,
in its
yeah,
title. Like it's a real like it's a struggle for you, but it's also like the perfect opportunity to remind people. Do you like
yeah.
it?
I did.
Swiss Canyon Trail, last weekend in May, Trail Talk meetup. Come and join us. Races from 16 to 111 kilometers. There are dozens of trail talkers going to it. It's going to be mighty crack. Uh, Looking forward to it. You're racing 111K. We're going to start kind of that training block very like now, like
Yeah.
basically, probably February is whenever I was thinking that block would be starting to ease into that.
Well, I was looking at you and what you put up the other day is like your kind of like your base building phase is over, and I was thinking, well, my base building phase is over, so that only means one thing, a new block, and that's the SCT block there straight away.
Yeah. And we'll talk about it as we like go through the block, but we're going to be testing Curran's, the blackberry supplement from New Zealand, starting. I've got a supply to give to you. They've sent us some stuff to test, but like I think from what I've read, from what I've learned about it, it helps speed up glycogen replenishment and recovery. So that's kind of where my head's at with that. And we'll be sorting you out with your supply for the training block when I see you next week at the winter meetup in the mountains of Mourne.
Yeah,
If anyone is in Ireland and wants to go to it, jump into the WhatsApp, shoot a DM to me or Ricky and ask us about the crack. When is it? It's Sunday morning, 1st of February. We're doing a long run. There'll be a shorter option. There's like 20 something people going to be there. It's going to be great crack. It's going to be
class.
cold. It's always bank on it being cold. I will be circulating a thing that, we're going to have to carry a certain amount of like bivvies just to be safe in case someone has an accident or whatever so we can look after them. But we're going to do two routes. There'll be a shorter loop where we all will go together, and then there'll be an exit point with easy nav back down to the start for the shorter distance loop. But we're still going to be chucking in a shit ton of vert in the shorter distance loop. You're still going to be hitting 1,000 meters, so don't worry. Make sure you have a good breakfast that day,
Yeah.
and pack the layers. Looking forward to that next weekend.
And just on that, I would say for anyone that doesn't know, Aaron is just back from Australia, back in Ireland now, and I seen that he was out on the trails this morning. How did you find it? What did you think of the weather? Are you glad you're back?
Oh man, first impression was I messaged you whenever I got back, and it was like 5 degrees, and I've just come from Australia, and I think today in Sydney or yesterday in Sydney was 38, right? Probably like 70%, 60, 70, 80% humidity at varying parts of the day. Would have been like unbelievably difficult to run at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, which is when I normally train. But I text you and I got into Dublin. I was like, it's not that cold. It was fresh, like it smelt good. It was like beautiful, crisp air. It felt good. And then I went out this morning. First off, I looked to see what time sunrise was at, and I get up at like 6 or before in Sydney. I like to get up before the sun. And I looked at sunrise, and sunrise today was at something like 8:40. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna stay in bed until that time. So I actually went out and I hit the trails for sunrise. And oh man, it was there was like 50-mile-an-hour winds, and there was I don't know what the wind chill was, but I just know that this part of my face was exposed and it
Yeah.
was numb. It was like sore. You know, whenever you're running and it's so cold, the wind chill, that you put your hand up to guard
Yeah.
one side of your face. So I was
Yeah.
running along like this for a while, and then the hand gets cold, and then you're doing this, and then you're holding your hood round to cover your face. So yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah. But just on that, right? Like, I wear shorts all year round to work, right? I always wear shorts, and it's very rare I wear like a running tight or anything like that. But in the last 2 weeks, I'm like somebody training for the spine. I'm wearing everything. I'm wearing everything I can find in the room. I'm wearing trousers. I'm wearing like jogging long, not tights. I'm wearing like joggers, let's say, I'm wearing two rain jackets nearly, and then my high vis and everything. And I'm still cold. And like that, I'm running. I have my hand up because the wind is belting the rain into my face. Yeah, it's trying times here in this part of the world at the minute.
I used to like I remember years ago, Killian used said this thing about if you ever like struggle with the weather, you need to just reframe how you think about it and think that it's your opportunity to be out in the elements and experience nature, even if it's harsh, and you just have
Mm.
to gear up and kind of enjoy it. And I was honestly trying to think about that, like, a couple of times, like I threw my arms out to my side, like, just take it all in and experience it. And it kind of did help. And also, I didn't have the headwind, all of it. But Divis Mountain, where I was running, is totally exposed. It's the hill above Belfast, and there's no trees. I mean, everything is below probably 8 inches in height. So the wind just cuts straight over it, and it's crazy. But tomorrow, it's raining all day, heavy rain. And I'm looking forward to getting out in the morning and I'm like, I'm getting out early. I don't want to look at the rain all day and go, then I'm going out. I'm getting out. I'm going for a run. I'm putting on a coat and I'll embrace it. And
Look at when you're in it, you're in it. When you're in it, you're in it. It's like when look at I'm the same. It's like I'm looking out the window at it and I'm like, oh man, it looks awful, it looks awful. And it was the same this evening. I got home from work and it was like, oh man, I don't want to go back out in it. Don't want to go back in it. Put on your layers, get outside. Once you're in it, you're in it, and you don't really pass much heat in it, and then it's done. But before you know it, it's done, and you go in and you have your dinner, and your dinner's the best dinner in the world. I just had me chili before I came to the show, and it was the nicest bowl of chili I ever had, and I have it every day.
well, you wouldn't believe what I had today.
Chili.
We had Christmas dinner.
Christmas dinner.
We pulled crackers. We had, our normal Christmas starter. We had turkey and ham
Ah,
and
class.
Brussels sprouts. The table was set because I didn't have that this year at home. So we did it today. Just Sarah and I, my mum and dad, and it was good crack.
Ah,
I enjoyed
that's
it.
lovely. That's a nice touch. That's an Irish mammy there straight away. That's an Irish mammy. You're having Christmas. You're having
I
Christmas.
had my paper hat on. We read our
Yeah.
jokes. I had to do a few things. I had to do charades as well. we've had good crack today.
Very good.
Question in the chat: how short is the short distance or loop next week? I think it's about 1,000 meters. It's probably about 12K. I'm gonna say because I know the route, because I know the ascent, it's the shorter loop's probably gonna be a 2 hour effort. So I'm thinking it's gonna be a 2 hour, and then the long run is gonna be five plus five and change, five and how slow you're gonna make it. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna say it'll be 5 hours and change, and I'm just gonna layer up. You layer up this time. You need to wear more than last time. You didn't have enough on you.
I had to borrow your jacket the last time.
Yeah, the good
Yeah.
Gore wear concurve
Yeah.
looked well on you.
No, no, I'll be ready this time. I'll be ready this time. And like like even for me, I'm excited about it because I'm planning my week around that long run. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, this is it now. This will be one of the first long runs of the new block as such. So it's like I'm excited. 25 lads, maybe not 25 on the long, but there could be 20 lads on the long. It's going to be class, man. I can't wait. Like,
It'll
how
be good
often does
crack.
that happen?
We'll cycle through in the peloton style, and
Yeah.
everyone will do a stint in front of you, Ricky, just to keep you
Do.
warm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, moving on. We got to just touch on the training because we got to check in on that. So, what was the volume last week? Give us some stats, some distance, time, vert, whatever.
The previous week I think was in around 9 hours, and it was 100, I think 110 kilometers for the week, with maybe 14 or 1,500 meters of climbing. This week I went a little bit longer on the
No,
distance.
last week is in ending yesterday.
Oh, well, my stats for this week then are 116 kilometers, about 14, 1,500 meters of climbing, something like that. So 9.5 hours, something like that. Yeah, yeah, it's a good week. I had a race in that week as well.
And did you hit the did you keep your treadmill promise?
No, no, I didn't because I was racing this week. So I was doing my race. My race was
Ricky,
my
keep
big
showing
session
up.
this week. Hey, I showed up. I showed up.
You didn't show up to the treadmill.
No, no, I didn't do the treadmill, but I did. Would say I did Monday, Tuesday, easy. Wednesday, tempo. Thursday, Friday, easy, steady. You know what I mean? So like there was a lot more steady than easy, and then race day on Saturday. So I treated race day with 5K warm up race. I think I did 10K then after the race. So that was a good day all around. So like a big train day with a big session in the middle. That's the way I looked at it. And then I backed that up with 32K on the Sunday. But I broke that up into two runs because I'm not going to lie, my little calves were very, very sore the morning after the race. So the first run was just to get it done, get 16K into the legs. Calves were a little bit tender. Ran a couple hours later, another 16K. Calves came back to normal. Good to go for this week. And then started off this week with a nice 14K before I came on to chat with you.
Lovely. Before
You.
we, before we come on to me, Jay in the chat said he might slow us down in the long run. Jay, slowing down is good. The long run, we're not looking for intensity. We're looking to get out there, do a long run, do the distance. As long as you're game for a couple of 1,000 meters plus in the legs, you'll be fine. And if you're not, we'll just kick you off, kick you down the call with the 2 hour group. But no,
You
I'm sure you'll be fine.
are you advising polls at the weekend? I'm guessing you're advising polls at the weekend.
I mean, I would never advise polls unless, I mean, if someone wants to use polls, he can use polls. Paul Clark will have polls.
Yeah.
He'll
Yeah.
have polls. He'll have long johns, trousers, full wets. He'll be the man fully kitted. He's the only guy that's not going to be cold
Yeah.
on Sunday. Polls, I'm not bringing polls.
No. Me neither. But I was just saying, are you passing out advice? That's all.
I don't like. I would be using polls if my next race. I'd be using polls, and my next race is a 60K. So I probably won't use polls for it. I think it's like 60K and 3,500 meters of vert. So even if I do end up using polls, I don't need to start training with polls now.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So yeah, the only thing I'll be recommending is proper warm kit. Everything else, big boys and big girls, you know the deal.
Yeah.
There's no mandatory kit in the Trail Talk run.
There'll be no kit checks. If you don't have it, tough.
There's no kit checks, no carbon tax.
Yeah, yeah.
And so on your tr last week's training, one workout, one race.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So two workouts in the week, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
good. And then this week, plan for this week.
Plan for this week is two workouts again this week, and then we have our long run then at the weekend. So that's the way I'm looking at that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For me,
To be honest with you, right, so the way I'm looking at it now is like did again my base building phase is done now, right? So I will be looking now towards the new block of training. So then I'll be just sitting down and working out what I need to do, how much climbing I need to do. So I'll be getting a little bit more serious in what I want to achieve from the next training block, if you get me, you know. There'll
yeah,
be at the minute now, you know yourself, it's just January. It's just like you're running just so that you're maintaining, just that you're building a little bit of fitness. And I am like, genuinely, I'm pretty happy with where I am right now. I'm sort of saying, well, I feel good. I feel like I've got energy. I feel like I've got some fitness. I always think it's hard to gauge fitness, you know, but just doing that race, I figured, do you know what? I ran really well. I had good speed, but I also recovered very, very fast after that. I know it's only 8K, but I mean, you know, within 30 seconds, I was like, all right, we do our warm down now, and you're fine, you know. So I think I'm in good shape, and I'm in a great starting position now to start a new block.
yeah, yeah. I didn't have a great week last week, but I changed up my bike workout from 6 by 3 and 2 by 25. I did 2 by 25 and 8 by 2. And the 8 by 2 was like at 120% of FTP. So I think it was a really beneficial workout. Like it definitely felt like I was pushing watts
Mm,
that I wouldn't normally be pushing, and I was able to achieve it. And I think ultimately time at a certain power output is what you're trying to do, like accumulate time. And so I think that was good. It kind of cooked me, like I felt it in the next couple of days. And then I was traveling on Sunday, so Sunday was wiped out. So I ended up just with like 50 something K in the week, 5.5 hours of running. I don't even know what the biking was. The biking was probably, I think, 4.5 hours on the bike, or maybe four. And then like the I think probably like 900 meters of vert across those two sessions. I know that 8 by 2 ended up getting like 630 meters
yeah.
of vert, which is it's actually pretty big because I did it like on a steeper grade, so I just was getting a bit more vert than uh, the previous week. So that was interesting. And then for me, like the priority this week is I just want to start like building up the volume now, deprioritizing the bike. Obviously, I won't be on the bike for a couple of weeks with being in Ireland, but then I'll probably just use the bike in Australia whenever I'm tired. You
Mm,
know, I like to just spin it out for, I do like a route on Rouvy, which is like 55K in Amsterdam. It's like flat, just high cadence, and spin that if I'm tired. But I kind of need to start building the volume now. Like,
yeah, but on that, we'd say when you come to the Mournes, you're usually like an outrageous man for getting after vert. So are you going to be concentrating on vert in the volume, or are you more concerned about just hitting volume with less vert, if you know what I mean? Because the Mournes, it's hard not to get a lot of climbing in it, you know, if you actually go into the mountains, like, you know.
yeah, well, like look at last year, whenever I was last in the Mournes through May, leading up to Ultra Trail Australia, I knew that was a runnable course. So I actually stayed a lot in the lowlands
Yeah.
and like in Tullymore and in the foothills just to do more runnable stuff. And it's probably weather for that rather than the high mountains anyway. So I don't have much of a priority. I'm just going to be running everywhere
Yeah.
at this point. You know, I think the priority for me is not to really be hiking stuff because it's not that specific for the stuff that I'm training for. I need to be like doing runnable stuff. And yeah, it's okay to hike in parts of it, but ultimately, if I could run it, I'd run it.
Yeah, but where you're talking about those trails, like especially on that, like below the tree line, let's say there in Tollymore and in the other side of the moors there, that's perfect, like rolly, like tempo-ish trails. Like it's like you can get 1,000 meters of climbing, but it's all runnable. It's all runnable. Like you could do 23, 24K in there, get close to 1,000 meters, maybe 1,100 meters of climbing, and it all be runnable. Like I love it in there.
Yeah. So that's the plan. And up until then, I'm probably just going to be ticking off stuff that I'm enjoying, like old routes. So went to Divis Black Mountain this morning, which is like really close to me. It's like 10 minutes drive. It's like the local hill. I'll probably go and do some Cave Hill, maybe some Redburn, all of the hilly spots,
Yeah.
and then up the Mournes end of the week, and then through into next week, I'll be doing some more stuff up there as well. So let's see. Um, we got a viewer question. I want to tackle that as we start to close out the show. I think it's kind of fun. People would message us during the week, and like I just will bank one and say, yeah, we'll get this on the show. So if you've got a question, drop it in the comments on Spotify or Apple or YouTube or wherever. And the question this week, I'm stepping up from 50 to 100K this year. How long should my long runs be? So I asked a couple of other questions, and the guy is like training 8, 9 hours a week. So he's doing good enough volume anyway. So do you want to tackle that one first?
So he's stepping from a 50 to a 100K.
He's done 3 or 4 50Ks, and he's stepping up to 100K this year, Ultra
Yeah.
Trail Mountain.
Yeah, it's a funny one because like a lot of people will talk about, oh, you need to do big back-to-back days or you need to do extra long days. But like how long does your long day need to be? Like if you're doing 70K in the mountains training for 100K, is that really beneficial for you? I don't think so because you know what I mean? You have to remember you have to recover and go again, you know? So you're not really tweaking it that much from a 50K training to a 100K training. You know, you don't have to do a whole pile more. You just need to sprinkle in a little bit more volume through the week. I'm talking Monday to Sunday, like rather than just getting greedy and trying to go for these long runs, because at the end of the day, those long runs, they're grand for getting you better at time on feet. But if you're not efficient through that and you're just like pulling and dragging through that, is that really beneficial for you either? That's kind of my view on the too long of a long run.
Yeah, you can definitely just go out into the mountains and do 5, 6, 7 hours and kind of, in my opinion, like I've been there in years gone by and done that and been out and done, you know, regularly be doing 8 hours on a Saturday, you
Yeah,
know, see after dinner,
yeah,
away for sunrise. And probably half of that time is wasted.
yeah, yeah,
You come back in a deficit, you maybe eat a little bit more poorly because you think you can get away with it. So, like, in my opinion, going from 50 to 100K, like in the 50K, you probably get away with like 3 hour long runs. And in 100K, I'd probably be thinking as long as you can handle it, you want to be getting your long runs up to like 5 hours of good runnable trail, which is something similar to the race. Like for me, my first 100K this year will be Ultra Trail Australia in May, 2 weeks before Swiss Canyon Trail. And there's like it's a very runnable course, but there's then lots of steps as well. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be running runnable trail and then hiking steps. And I'll
yeah,
probably at some point be sticking some weight on my back to do steps as well, just to give myself a bit more stimulus of that type of thing. Also, because I identify that as a weakness. So I don't think you need to go crazy on the long runs. Like if you're doing 5 hour long runs with your race kit, with your mandatory gear, you know what the pack's going to feel like.
yeah,
You're getting out there, you're thinking about what am I going to have on race day morning from breakfast. Do that before your long runs. Practice all this type of stuff,
yeah.
and then it all just starts to feel more natural and normal.
Yeah, like it's very rare I'd have some of my long runs over 50K. Like they wouldn't be over 50K, they'd be more around that sort of marathon distance. And then to be very specific to the race I was training for. So I'd be trying to put in, let's say 40% of that run, that long run at race pace, so that you're practicing race pace and then fueling at race pace, what the weight of the gear is like at race pace. So it's all very specific to that. And then the next day, because you didn't run 60 or 70K, the next day you can go and do like something like a 20K or like a 2 hour long run or a 2.5 hour long run. And that's stacked on top of that, stacked on top of another weekend, another weekend, another weekend training block. It builds massive fitness and a massive engine. And that's what it's all about, really.
Yeah, like doing a 5 and a 2 in your training block is seriously good training. And don't be jumping into the start of your 12-week block and thinking, week one, I've got right, love, I've got a 5 hour and a 2 hour this weekend. I'll catch you later.
After dinner.
That might start off at a 2 and a 1 to a 3 and a 90, and it's gonna build up until basically you shouldn't be fucked the next
Yeah.
day. You should still be able to, you might be tired. Like you can be mentally tired from it, but whenever you start to run, everything still works and the legs
Yeah.
still do what they're doing. So like switch off the mind, get the stuff on and go out. And sometimes I would, maybe it's not something I've done in a long time, but I can remember in years gone by, I would have had the thought of just go out the door and decide if you can do this after 30 minutes.
Mm.
And you never turn around.
No, no, no,
The only
never.
time I've ever quit on a run is whenever I was in a bad mood about something and it was nothing to do with the running. So
Yeah.
that's the only, like, that's the only time I can ever think of turning around and going, fuck this thing. No, I
Mm.
can't be arsed with this. It was never to do with the legs not being able to move.
Yeah, like there's things that I'll do where I could do a long run that had some intensity in it on a Saturday, and then the Sunday I've got to go. And in my head I have a plan. I'm saying, well, I need to do 35K today, or 32K or whatever. And then I would know in that run that it's just not happening. So I'm going to break this up, and I'm still going to hit those numbers, but it'll probably be in two runs. So I'll run that probably easy, just get through that run, get my body back right, get a few hours, get some fuel, get some food, and then go again. And when I go again, that next run is always a better run. And then I'm set up for the week again. You're still getting the same bang for your buck, you know what I mean? And then you're just not injuring yourself and you're not mentally draining yourself either.
Yeah. So hopefully the guys coming out on the Trail Talk long run this Sunday aren't coming from a 0 or a 1 hour or a 2 hour long run. Although in the group there's a wee bit of banter. There might be a few junk miles in there as well.
Yeah.
So the group will get through.
And I ain't carrying no man. I don't even want to carry the bag that I'm carrying, so I ain't carrying anyone else, say.
I'm sticking rocks in your bag when you're not watching. You have to carry everyone's bivy.
Yeah.
You'll be the first aid guy. All right, let's wrap up the show. Um, community racers, we had loads of people running in the Arc. I can't even remember all the names. I know that Matthew had a great run in the miler, like
Mm.
26 hours he ran, so
It's a great
well done to
time.
him.
That's very impressive time. Yeah, that's really
Yeah,
good.
like I forget where he was position wise, but he was definitely at the front end of the field
Yeah.
anyway. A load of other runners. Can you remember any of the names? I can't.
I can't. I can't. There's
Zach and
tons.
Adam were in the 25, but uh, yeah, there was a few others, a couple of DNFs as well, as you would expect with
Yeah.
the 60% DNF rate. I think I saw Matthias put in the chat earlier on. So yeah, um, a great week, a great week ahead in Ireland. I hope
Yeah.
everyone enjoys the wonderful winter weather and has a little prayer for me, the most tanned Irishman on the island right now. Um,
Aaron was ringing me earlier before the show looking for sympathy. I just hung up on him. I wanted to just hang up on him. Don't be ringing me for sympathy. You're in Ireland a day. Dig in.
you're not the man for a sympathy phone call. All right. Fantasy League went down at the weekend as well. Hong Kong 100 was part of that. Champion. I topped the league, so I've got a march on Josh. So happy about that.
Yeah, it's a good
Nick,
start for you. It's a good start for you.
it
Yeah.
is. That's how, I mean, I had a good start last year and then it tailed off towards the end. And I need to start strong and keep it going this year. Black Canyon and Tarawera will be in the Fantasy League, so that's a double hit on the same weekend. So watch out for that. Link is in the link tree, which is in the bio, in the description, if you want to join the Fantasy League. You can also join the WhatsApp there. People are joining every week, coming in, asking questions about the gear, the shoes, the nutrition. There's conversation going on yesterday about BPC 157, the Wolverine peptide. That was an interesting one. And obviously there was loads of chat over the weekend in the pro group about the race at the front at ARC, and then in the UK and Ireland group about basically the community and just the average Joe that was out there running. So some plenty of good chat in there. So that's all from me. Like everyone, have a great week. Ricky, have a great week. Hope
Yeah.
the roofs are nailed down well in the storm that's coming. And we'll see you next weekend.
Yeah, big storm coming tomorrow, I think. Big storm coming tomorrow, but we'll batten down the hatches and we'll keep showing up. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't fucking matter. All right. See you later, mate.
Peace.
Peace.